Hey folks, welcome back to the Edupedia world, and I am Abhinay Gupta. And today again we will continue with the Securities and Exchange Board of India Act 1992, which is the SEBI Act 1992, right? So in the previous lecture we dealt with one of the longest sections so far, that was section 11. So we dealt with somewhere around 19 to 20 points over there, right? But don't be scared, you don't have to mug up all of them, right? With the understanding that you have, right, I hope you are able to recall and recollect somewhere around 8 to 10 points. Can I assume that? Yes, you can, right? So if you look at from your exam point of view as well, so the maximum question or the maximum marks this question would contain for you would be somewhere close to 4. And for 4 marks, you would have to jot down somewhere around 8 to 10 points. And since we have covered 20 with an understanding, so I don't think writing down 8 to 10 out of it is a challenge for you now. And SEBI, as I'm informing you again beforehand, that is gonna be a little long. We are gonna have lot many lectures on this chapter because it is one of the largest chapter that we have after directors, right, in the entire law. Okay, so there may be certain topics which are not relevant at all. So those topics I'll skip. There are other topics that may not be very much relevant for the examination, may not have appeared ever, but seems important, will be covered, and some which requires your understanding will be covered, right? And anything that has ever been asked in your examination or any topic that has ever been the concern of the institute will definitely be covered in detail. So there's this relaxation that I will not be covering all the topics because there are a lot which do not make any sense but will eat up at least 1 or 2 lectures over there. If I combine all those small topics, irrelevant topics, then I think we would be wasting a lot of lectures on that, right? So let us see what we have today. Today we have section 11A. So 11A sections we will be covering, or basically it will be a little long. So we'll be covering section 11A. B and D will be covering in the next lecture, and C doesn't seem lot much important for your examination as well because it is about order of investigation, right? And they have a lot of point in that, but still in 11C we'll be covering major 3-4 points out of it, right? That will be enough for your examination point of view and also for your understanding. So for today let us cover section 11A. Section 11A is the prohibition on the issue of prospectus. Yes, so SEBI has the power that it can go ahead and prohibit a company from issuing the prospectus, right? You know what prospectus is, right? It's an offer to the public. So when a company is going to launch their IPO, they issue that prospectus that gives them all the details about what the company is and what is the status of the company. But there are circumstances where SEBI would not allow a company to issue a prospectus. Let us see what they are. So first of all, SEBI may take certain measures for the protection of investors, and this is one measure among those. They will not allow any fraudulent company to just come in, issue prospectus and then issue shares because the public is attracted. So there are a lot of regulations that the board may go ahead to specify, right? So they will specify the matters that are relating to the issue of capital, the matters which are relating to the transfer of securities, and whatever incidental matters there are. So they will specify the regulation. They'll provide a regulation and specify that, okay, this is what you need to bring out as a capital and this is how you would be transferring your securities. In the meanwhile, other things are also referred, right? And whatever is happening in the company, right? The company prints a prospectus with a lot of details into it. SEBI may guide the company, right, to disclose other relevant matters as per SEBI's requirement. So if you look at prospectus, right, prospectus is generally covered, or larger part of it is covered by the Companies Act, right? So as per the Companies Act, you have the issue of prospectus, disclosure requirements, etc., right? But as per SEBI, SEBI would ask the company to have these additional disclosures. So these disclosures that SEBI enlists doesn't mean that these are the only disclosures that will be included in your prospectus. So first of all, because this act or this entire section, it is notwithstanding anything that is contained in any section in the Companies Act relating to the prospectus. So whatever is mentioned in your Companies Act will remain valid as it is, right? And SEBI adds on certain additional disclosures that would be required. So SEBI may go ahead to pass on a special order or a general order and prohibit certain companies as well, that listen, you are not supposed to issue prospectus. I don't know what qualifications you have had and how does you qualify the Companies Act's requirement for issue of prospectus. If we think you're not eligible, means you're not eligible, and SEBI has the power to prohibit that company. So that company will not be able to bring out the prospectus, issue the prospectus, will not be able to offer any document, will not be able to advertise for soliciting any money from the public, right? So cannot issue any securities, cannot have a presence in the security market. And otherwise also, if there are certain companies that SEBI doesn't want to prohibit, right? But there are certain restrictions they want to apply. So SEBI would specify certain conditions that, okay, subject to these conditions, subject to the fulfillment of these conditions, you are allowed to issue a prospectus or whatever, the offer document for any memorandum for advertising or anything like that, they are able to do. But that is if they are not prohibited. If they are prohibited, then nothing is allowed, right? Otherwise, they can specify a company, look, this is the requirement, do this, these conditions, fulfill them, and then you can go ahead to issue a prospectus, right? So this is how SEBI actually protects the interest of the investors. They do not allow these fraudulent or speculative companies to come in and rob the investors, I would say, right? So SEBI may also specify certain requirements that would be required for listing, right? Either listing for the first time or transferring any security or whatever matter which is incidental thereto, right? So issue of prospectus conditions are given. What are the disclosures required will be specified, and then what is the requirement of your listing will also be given, right? So that is about SEBI section 11A. Clear with that? That SEBI has the power to go ahead with affecting the issue of prospectus as well, with the motive of securing the investors or protecting the investors, right? So we have covered section 11A, and now we will pick up in the next lecture. Collective Investment Scheme, section 11AA, right? So until then, this is Abhinay Gupta signing off. Thank you and bye-bye. I'll see you guys back in the next lecture.